So other than getting up at like 3 in the morning and just kind of skulking around the house, what have you been doing in your downtime, man?
Lots of streams, a few YouTube videos here and there, and then kind of just gym and streaming mostly, I'd say.
Gym and
Gym and
streaming?
streaming. Yeah, hang out with a few people here and there, but nothing too crazy. I mean,
Just kind
just
of
hanging
keeping
out.
yourself busy, holding yourself over till World War
Yeah,
II.
yeah, it gets boring.
I get
So
you. I
I'm
get
just
you.
bored. I just need to do something.
No, I feel you. That's kind of my
It's tough.
downtime. I can't even like you guys aren't doing anything, so I can't even make anything. Like there's nothing I can do really in Call of Duty right
Yeah,
now in terms of
there's
content.
nothing's
So,
happening in COD.
yeah. So I
So
figured
it's like,
that I would use this time for interviews to just like learn more about you guys and just have more information coming into World War II. Because I don't want to
yeah,
go in and just like speculate and make a bunch of guesses when my downtime could have been used to ask you questions. So that's kind of been
yeah.
my thing. But welcome to Play for Picks, guys. I'm here with Attach. He
Yo, what's
is.
good? What's good? What's good?
You can see just behind him, we're talking to a world champion. This man has hundreds of thousands of dollars made from Call of Duty to his name. He's definitely
Yeah,
he's definitely got some experience on board right now. We've seen him competing way back as far as like Black Ops 2. Mostly professionally in Call of Duty Ghosts, but we saw a little bit of his time in Black Ops 2 at UMG Dallas. His bigger accomplishments, though, were going to be under the Denial and FaZe organization, where under Denial he was able to find first place at COD Champs for Advanced Warfare. We have
yeah.
also a couple of other events, one in Advanced Warfare under FaZe Clan, which is going to be UMG Dallas, Gfinity, Season 3 playoffs. I mean, he's decorated at this point. He's it's only been about 4 years or so within his career, and
A
he's
little
been
bit.
18 for how long have you been 18 for? Because I think you were one of the younger players, right? When you first started out. Is that true?
Yeah, I was 18 for like 3 years. No, but
That
yeah,
was a dumb
I was
question, but I
lucky.
meant to ask, how old are you?
No, yeah, I'm 20 now.
Okay, yeah. That was like a really roundabout way to ask you what your age
Yeah, that was a
is.
really weird question, but I was pretty much luckily I was able to compete at tournaments when I was 16. I went to UMG or Anaheim in Black Ops 2, UMG Dallas in Black Ops 2, and then that game ended. Then I went to UMG Philly and Ghost, and I turned 17 at UMG Philly,
Yeah.
and then I was just lucky with timing in that game because getting bad timing could have been really bad. Almost missed out on champs by like 13 days
Yeah.
for AW champs. That could have been really bad if I missed out on that.
Yeah, and there were some
But
players in that time that had to get dropped, like TJ Alley from TK,
yeah,
because he wasn't
TJ
old enough.
Methods basically had to get dropped. Like he had to get dropped and leave teams a few times. TJ obviously couldn't play. Methods was a big one that got dropped at the time because he was on Phase Red with like JCap replays and theory.
Right.
So that was another really big like that like definitely hurt his career too because he obviously couldn't play at that champs when he was on a good team too.
Damn, man. You dodged a bullet and made a career out of it. Like, it's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
all about lucky timing, man. That's all life is. Just getting lucky
Yeah,
and working hard.
it's really wild that 2 weeks was like the deciding factor to you kind of having this
Pretty
pathway in front
much.
of you.
Pretty
But
much.
I mean, obviously, the deciding factor would be your skill and ability as a player. But
Yeah,
I
of
think that's a
course.
much funnier headline is is two
Yeah.
weeks. But
Good
yeah,
stuff,
guys.
parents.
Yeah, right. Shout out to the parent. We're bringing we're bringing Attach onto the show today. Mostly to talk about the old phase roster and sort of get some more information about those players, as some of them are going their separate ways. We already saw the announcement of Enable going over to Evil Geniuses. We saw Censor supposedly making a return and saying that he did have an opportunity to join FaZe Clan, but again, more recently announcing that he's actually not going to be joining because there was no space for him or something like that. We're not going to be talking about Attach's new team, though. I'm sure that maybe he'll hint at it as much as he'd like throughout this video, but we're not really going to ask too many pressing questions about that. It's going to be more about him as a person and a player and his former teammates and his interactions with them. So, first thing we're going to get into
Let's
is the
go.
fact that FaZe Clan, this roster, what we saw, which was, yourself, Clayster, Zuma, and Abel, was together from July of 2015 to more recently in June of 2017, and then we saw you replacing Clayster with Gunless. Now, it's no secret that you guys were just always on the cusp of victory for such a long time after your tournament wins in Advanced Warfare. The last major win from you guys was Season 3 playoffs in Advanced Warfare.
Yeah.
So, like, being just a breath away from victory from event to event, like, what kept this roster together for so long? What made you think, nah, this is fine, this will work? Or, like, we'll figure it out, you know?
Just obviously like after Infinite or AW Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, we just weren't our team just wasn't that good at that game. And then going into Infinite Warfare, we started off pretty good, like placed third at the first event, and we like had a few other high placings, but just always being there and being so close to like winning was definitely like just like, oh, we're already this close. Like we just gotta win one more match or win two more matches, then we win. So it's like just getting there so many times and not be able to close it out was definitely a tough feeling. But I feel like that's kind of what happened. Like we had definitely a chance. I'd probably say season one playoffs was our best chance at getting top two and especially winning the event because we played Splice. That's when like snaking was the big thing. But we played Splice, went up 1-0, and then we lost the next three straight in winners finals. So if we would have won that, we would have been in the grand finals. I think that was kind of just like the last straw for us, and everyone just kind of felt like we needed a change and just really wanted to change to like, because we know if we would have stayed together, we probably would have got another like top four, top three, something like that, which obviously is good. But I think everyone just kind of wanted a chance to win, and then just everyone tried to make things happen.
Yeah, I can imagine that gets frustrating. It's like, sure, you guys can almost win as much as you want, but you want to actually get there again. You want to find.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to take a risk and maybe win, or just like keep doing the same thing? Kind of how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you. That's got to be pretty frustrating. But I guess just like that potential that you guys had was what really kept you together, and also just the idea that you guys were building something for so long, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely the potential that kept us together, just of the team and the skill and just the players on it.
Okay. So for you personally, what was something that you were looking to improve on to try and help the team move forward? Like, did you feel like it was maybe partially something that you were doing that you could help and make the team improve on? Like maybe just a habit you couldn't shake or something that added to it? Obviously, it's not going to be the sole factor, but...
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really much that I felt like... There's a lot of different little things. Didn't really feel like there was just like one like really big thing that just kept adding up. I just kind of think the attitudes clashing really helped because like Clay and Ian are like completely different, are like opposite people. Like Clay's like super hyped, super into it, and like gets up screaming. While on the other hand, Ian's like kind of like quiet and doesn't like to do all that kind of stuff. So like towards when we started teaming, especially in the IWs, when it really became like the surface, it was just like the polar opposites right there. And it was just made it like weird because some people want to be quiet, some people want to be yelling sometimes. So it was just kind of weird how like the team would work out. And then in scrims, it was just like kind of a lot of arguing over the time, just like talking about the same stuff over and over again. And it just kind of got like repetitive and old. And I think everyone just kind of like not gave up, but you could just like kind of feel like the morale kind of be like demoralized a little bit.
Yeah, and we heard Clay echo the same sentiment. He was just like, after a while, just kind of felt like, you guys felt a little helpless in a way. Of course,
you're just like beating a dead horse, kind of.
Yeah. Temp was actually, I was just in an interview with him. He was talking about how that's his biggest pet peeve is just like having to revisit the same shit that should just be clockwork at this point. Like it shouldn't even be a problem when your team is together for however many months or weeks or whatever it is. That's one of his biggest issues as well, and I can kind of understand like that would be irritating for someone that's trying to like your whole thing, your whole career is to get better and better and better. So if something is holding you back, and it's the same thing every time. That's just got to be frustrating. Yeah,
no, definitely.
But so nothing specifically for you. You think it was more just like personalities kind of clashing and everything?
Yeah, I think it was more so personalities kind of clashing. Okay. That's what I do think it was.
It's funny that you said that like Clay's hype was kind of something that took away from the team. Because what you'll hear in a lot of commentary is that Clay's hype helps elevate the team, right? Do you think like what is your take on that? That sort of contradiction.
I definitely liked it. Like his hype is definitely good. I feel like you need hype and like need people to get hyped energy when you win a map or make a good play. But I feel like when it's not all into it, like if everyone's like not feeding off that and like taking it the right way, then it just doesn't help. Because like if people I'll take the hype, then I'll get hyped and go into the next map and play well and just be all hyped and energized. But if someone or a few people on the team are just kind of feel weird, if someone's getting too hyped up, it gets weird. Because like if you're not taking the hype, if you're like getting hyped and like getting happy and stuff, but it's affecting someone else in a negative way, then it's kind of like hurting the team in a way. But I don't know. I definitely like getting hyped because I mean you can't just sit there and be bored and look sad all the time. You definitely need to get up and yell and do some crazy shit.
Right, I get you.
Sorry for cursing.
No, you dude, you can do whatever you want on this show.
Oh yeah, let's get it.
But so basically you hate Clay is what you're. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, pretty much I hate Clay.
Yeah, I mean we all do, right? No, but it's just really funny because I think that even in like professional sports, you always hear about players that are just like the voice in the locker room that really gets people hyped up between quarters and everything. And like a team environment kind of needs that. They need someone to just like not necessarily take charge, but just like set the tone in a way. And then everyone else is like a collaborative effort. I kind of looked at Clay like that for sure. It's just interesting to hear that sometimes it rubbed you guys the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's just different. Everyone takes it different ways and stuff.
Yeah.
So, not what you can do.
Right. Right.
But I definitely like getting hype and energized. If you turn on someone or make a nasty play or make a crazy clutch or something, it definitely feels good
No, for sure.
after you get hype.
So with this team, like with this original FaZe roster we're talking about with Clay, were there any moments before that where you had a reason to believe there would have been a roster change? Was there anything concerning you at some point?
Not really. Maybe in Black Ops 3, just because we just weren't working well together. But we never just pulled the trigger on a change. So maybe in Black Ops 3, because like we were just placing really bad. Well, we just placed like 4th and 8th the whole year, pretty much in that game.
Right.
So it was just pretty bad.
Was
But
this before or after replays?
it was before.
Okay.
Yeah, before. I don't think we brought replays on until like late Black Ops 3. Like I think it was only champs that time we brought them in. So I think only for champs.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, so he was just at the very end. But other than that, it was just other stuff. I think we definitely should have made a change in Black Ops 3 to like mix it up because we definitely weren't good at that game as a team.
I guess that's just hindsight, though, right? Like
Yeah,
now
that's
you
just
kind of know,
hindsight.
but at the time you saw potential, and it
Yeah.
is pretty crazy because like all
Well,
throughout.
yeah,
Okay.
kind of that game. I was gonna say kind of in that game, like we definitely just had like the potential in that game, but we just never clicked. So we just played really bad. But we definitely like should have made a change in hindsight. We should have just pulled the trigger on something.
Yeah, there's no way to know for sure at the time, though, right? Because I think that even
Yeah, of course.
even at the time, people would look at the team and be like, "This team is so good. Like these players on any other team would do just fine." You know, it's really hard to try and make that decision and really pull the trigger
Yeah.
on it.
No, for sure.
So another thing that was going on with this roster more recently was Censor's involvement. When people were looking at your team and assuming you would be making roster changes because Gunless didn't seem to be that great of a fit, and you guys didn't exactly get to that next level that people would have expected for you to pick up an MVP and someone that had such a great time period of form in Infinite Warfare. We saw that Censor also announced he's throwing his hat into the ring, like he's going to be an option for the FaZe Pro team and everything. Now it's unclear whether that was going to be like a second pro team or what. We don't really know. But what was his impact on this whole post champs FaZe roster shuffle?
Who, Censor?
Yeah. What kind of
I think
effect did he have?
he really just wanted to be on the team and get back into competitive Call of Duty. So from what it looks like right now, I guess in that video he said he's like starting his own team or something.
Yeah,
It's something like that.
That's what he
So
said. He was just going to make his own team. But
yeah, so I mean he was just like trying to get on the team, trying to just get on the team, which I don't blame him for. I mean, definitely wants to, or everyone wants him, and like he wanted to come back to Call of Duty really badly to competing again. So I mean, we'll see how he does on that team that he creates, and then we don't know what's gonna happen from there. I mean, maybe he'll come back to FaZe after that. Who knows? But I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. But he was just really trying to get on the team, and it's just kind of risky to take a risk on a player like that when they haven't been playing for so long. But the one thing is that it is back to like boots on the ground in World War II. So I do feel like this is like the best time for the older players to get back into it, because like the older players couldn't play jetpack games just because it was way too insane, and it was just not Call of Duty, or it was Call of Duty, but it just wasn't like traditional COD what they're used to. So like getting back into Call of Duty like now for the older players is definitely the time to do it.
yeah, and I mean it's difficult for you guys because your sport changes every year. Like it's a massive overhaul of what you guys are used to and what you formed your teams around. So it kind of makes sense that motivation would be the main drive for some people, and that would, like, if they had no motivation, that could be like what really takes the quality of their gameplay down. So that's what I was just talking about on Twitter this morning too, is looking at a lot of these different teams. I think that if we take their placements in the past couple of years into account and their performance on individual levels, you probably wouldn't rate those players very, very highly. But we don't know how much of that was a cause for them to like not have motivation to actually learn the game and be great at it, right? So we don't know what World War II is going to do to their stock and their ability.
Yeah, so this is like a new thing happening to the community, because I mean we've never gone back. We've always gone forward in all these games and like just doing jetpacks and stuff. It always kept being jetpacks for those 3 years, and we've never actually went back from a jetpack game to old school like Call of Duty boots in the ground game. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, man. From sliding all over the map to double jumping all over the place with jetpacks to wall running and then bouncing off of walls and stuff. Like, it's only gotten
Now it's
crazier.
just back to pre-aiming,
Right.
throwing smokes and grenades and pre-aiming. That's pretty much all it's back
Dude,
to.
grenades are a nightmare in World War II right now.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll
yeah.
fix it. Like, the game is great all around, but that's got to be my one
Yeah.
gripe that I point out.
Yeah, public matches get really insane. You actually feel like you're in the war. Like
Yeah.
it's insane. Your screen's shaking. My house is shaking every time. There's like 8 grenades around me. Like it's actually insane. But I'm sure there'll be some rules against in competitive, so I'm not too worried.
Yeah, I'm hoping something's done about it. We're getting a little off topic here, but I do want to talk about this a little bit. One of my biggest suggestions was, I know that it's like against the theme of World War II, but I feel like, you know, even in the game itself already, some sacrifices are made from authenticity for gameplay improvements. I really wish that there was some kind of a trophy system. Even if you just get one and it only deflects 2 grenades and that's it.
Yeah.
But and only one character like Division can have it. I don't know. But something, I feel like we need some way of decreasing the amount of grenade spam in this game. Because you can't just jump up and dodge it anymore, you know? So.
Yeah, you either have to use, I think it was armored, the one that like blocks nades, but then you're vulnerable to stuns, and then you don't have 3 attachments, then you can't run fast, then you can't dive when you're shooting. Like, yeah. I don't know, it's gonna be interesting to see how that all plays out. But I definitely feel like there should be some kind of trophy thing in the game. I really don't think there will be, but I definitely think there should. But
I just want to walk away from a session of playing World War II without having a damn concussion. Like,
yeah, I don't want to have like trauma like I was actually in the war.
Yeah, dude.
From playing a video game. So
like, they did a great job of making it very realistic, because grenade explosions should be jarring and they should be in your face. And
yeah, they definitely are.
But like, oh man. So yeah, I guess a little back on topic here then. So Censor, was there any of your, I guess, you can't announce your team right now, obviously, or any of your players you're playing with, but was there anyone on your team that was considering teaming with Censor, either yourself or your teammates?
Not really.
Okay. So
there wasn't really any. Yeah.
Okay.
It was just like too much of a risk to like bring someone back that quick.
Yeah.
Who knows what the future holds?
Right. So, where exactly does Gunless come into play in all of this? I feel like in all the talks that we're seeing on social media and everything, and all the hints and rumors we're seeing around the FaZe roster, Gunless is very obviously left out in the dark, and we don't really know like what's going on with him. You probably can't talk much about that either, but can you shed some light on like his place and his relationship with the current FaZe players?
I mean, yeah, we're still all like, everyone's still like cool with it. I mean, kind of just his roster mania. Really, it's just like that time. Like when a roster change happens, there's gonna be a lot more. So, especially going into a new game, it's gonna be there was just due for a big change, and there's gonna be another big change during the game as well. So everyone's just kind of like building their team right now. But he is just doing his own thing pretty much.
Okay. So what do you feel Gunless was like at Champs with the team? Like, how do you think he fit? Or what do you think of him? How do you rate him as a player with you guys?
He was a good player. I like playing with him. There was definitely a few things that happened at Champs that were just like kind of weird, but like while we were playing and stuff.
What do you mean?
Just some like arguments and stuff that happened, but it was fun to play with, good to play with. To end out the year.
You don't want to get into the arguments then, or just like even hint at what?
No, there's just like it was just over like stupid stuff. Okay. I don't know. It's just weird. The whole situation.
So what? What's your? I feel like we've heard a lot from Zuma, Enable, and Clay about just some of the in-game leader issues with FaZe. It seems like we've heard from everyone but you, really. Like, everyone's given their piece and then given their piece a second time, but I haven't really gotten to hear exactly your take on the situation, where most people on the outside looking in would assume that Clay was at the very least like doing the most in terms of in-game leading and shot calling and kind of paying the direction for the team. And then Enable, you, and Zuma were obviously still contributing. Like, you guys weren't just sitting there like yes men, but it seemed like Clay was clearly at the head of it, at least for the majority of you guys teaming together. But then when he left, we heard Enable and Zuma kind of saying the opposite. What is your take on exactly how that went down, and what just I guess sort of like let us know what you thought of him as an in-game leader for the team.
I mean, yeah, Clay was definitely one of our leaders, but I kind of feel like it switched around so much that it was just like someone would do a one event in search and destroy, someone would call shots the other time in search and destroy. If someone's feeling the call the shots in other search and destroys, and then like in practice, everyone would kind of just pitch in. So it really wasn't like a solidified leader like telling us like where to do, where to go and stuff, because it was always break out into like a conversation. There would always be like a conversation about everything we were doing, which like how it should be, but it just got to the point where it was just like I don't know. I think in Call of Duty, like you don't really need, like you obviously need a captain and leader and stuff, but you don't really need one that's like that tells you to do everything in game because like you know what to do. It's Call of Duty. It's very simple stuff. So it's like being a leader is just being like, all right, guys, let's go B. So it just kept swapping around a lot in different games and different tournaments. So it wasn't like really one set leader. But I mean, in AW, it was just like we all played together. We all knew what to do. Just killed everything and won. Black Ops 3. I mean, we all just tried different new stuff, try to build new strategies as a team. Didn't work out. IW, which is kind of like our S&D was always like our weaker game mode or our weakest point in that game. And we would just kind of like trying stuff off. Like I would call shots sometimes. Tommy would call shots. Clay would call shots. Ian sometimes here and there. And then in practice, it would just kind of go back and forth with everyone like conversating and trying to fix certain play styles and stuff.
Which is so odd because like
it was just like yeah. There's I was gonna say there wasn't really like there was like Clay was like the captain of the team, but it was hard to say like a set leader because like everyone like would like voice their opinion so much, and it was just always such a topic to talk about. So everything was always such up in the air. It wasn't like someone would say something we do it. It always someone would have to be talked about like a lot, and it was just kind of. I honestly like just wish that sometimes like we would just someone would say something like run 4 down the middle of the map or just 4 hit a fucking underwall run, and like then we'll do it. Because it just got so annoying to a point where everyone like wants to do this, everyone wants to do something different, and it just got like kind of crazy.
I get you. That makes sense. It's so funny to hear that like you guys were having trouble in S&D because every time I think about that roster, I think about all of what you guys were able to do in Advanced Warfare and how well-rounded you were as a team. Like in S&D, we had Zuma's insane first blood percentage stats. Like he was always someone you could count on to do something like that for you guys. We had you and Respawns, who was usually incredibly reliable when it came to being in the hill, being involved with the uplink drone and everything, and then putting up kills whenever Clay and Zuma weren't doing just that. And it just like, we would even constantly see comparisons from Zuma to Scump. We would see Clayster constantly within the top 5 of ARs, to which I don't really think he's ever left that, but I mean, it's definitely
he's always been like top 3.
Yeah, for sure. But it's just like it's so hard to imagine that like you guys over time they're just seeing more cracks in the armor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
for sure.
So it's also interesting to hear that you felt like there was just too much talking going on, and you said that you also said that you don't think that a team really needs a leader in Call of Duty because it's simple. I don't entirely agree with that. I think that your team might not, just because all of you guys are very competent players at this point, and you don't really need someone to hold your hand and walk you through stuff. But I feel like there is value in someone like Clay that will. I don't know, call out how much time is left on the hill when he sees that you're EMP'd and about to push it or something. You get what I mean? Like there are people that don't think to do stuff like that, and there's like they have a value and a good role in a team to have that level.
Well, I really don't think that's being a leader. I think it's just being a good, well-rounded player. But it obviously helps if someone's doing that, which Clay was definitely good at doing those like small things that help like that. So he's just a very good, well-rounded player.
Okay, that makes sense. I get what you're saying there.
What, but a leader,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say a leader is just like I think a leader's more so like the person that will like always be working hard in practice, always like scheduling a time, always just making sure everyone's good for practice, whether they're who knows, emotional, hungry, literally anything. I think that's more so of a leader of just like doing stuff like that. Like more so it's like the out of game things. And when obviously it's like in game, like making sure everyone's focused, calling out, but you gotta make sure everyone's like feeling right, feeling good, that they're happy or want to scrim or something. Like there's a lot more that goes into it, but just besides the gameplay. Because I mean, if your mind isn't there, Call of Duty's all literally like you use your hands and like your reaction time and stuff a little bit, but it's all pretty much mind games. And if your brain's not all there, if it's cloudy a little bit, it's a bad day, it could definitely hurt, and then it could cause arguments, cause stuff to kind of go south.
I was more using that, like that specific example that I gave, like that doesn't make a great leader. I was mostly just like pointing out the fact that Clay is the type of person to go the extra mile. You know what I mean? Like he's someone that's thinking about, like, you know, breaking things down and communicating that with you guys. And I would assume other aspects as well. That was just kind of an example of something that he would do. But yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. That's definitely not indicative of a leader. That's just like a great trait that he has as a well-rounded player and with good communication. So I guess Replays is someone that also joined this team towards the end of Black Ops 3. Of course, we saw him at Champs. What value do you feel you got out of Replays in Infinite Warfare, though? Like, as an analyst for the team? Do you think that he was someone that could settle these arguments? Do you think he kind of fueled the fire of opinionated people?
He definitely, I would say, like help settle them because when you have like an extra set of eyes, seeing everything that you don't see because you're playing, so you see a little bit of things, but you're definitely gonna miss some things that your teammates do or you do sometimes just because the game moves so quick, especially in Infinite Warfare. So he definitely helped us catch a few things, help us like with our search and destroy because there was times where we would be like really good at search and destroy, other times we would be terrible, so it was just kind of weird. But he definitely helped, I'd say. And it kind of sucked that he got like injured at the start of the game because he was like he couldn't play at all, so he kind of like a little bit behind on the stuff. He'd obviously watch us a ton, but I mean, if he was able to play and grind with us and like whatever it would be, like tournaments, GB matches, he could have help build some strategies as well along with us. But he definitely helped, I'd say.
Yeah, and it's it's just really interesting to see him as an analyst because like I know that he knows what he's talking about. And he's someone that like takes no shit. You know what I mean? Like you say something to him he doesn't like, and he's like, "No, that's stupid. We're not doing that." I kind of get that vibe from him. Like he's someone that's very calculated and like and just like very stern with what he believes and what he says. I think that really makes for a good like analyst and also a mediator for all of you guys.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So moving forward, then from this roster, from the original FaZe roster, what are some things that you're looking for in your next team that would make it an improvement on your original FaZe roster?
Just looking for just the basics. Obviously, good gun skill, smart player, just like ready to grind, learn the game. Because I mean, we're going into a new game every year. It's the same thing going into a new game. Like it's pretty much whoever plays the game the most at the beginning will usually be up there as the best team. So. Just looking for well-rounded players who are smart, can take criticism and stuff like that. Because I feel like on our last team there was just too many egos, too many conflicting egos, which kind of really hurt us. But other than that, just kind of just like the basic stuff. I mean, the stuff that everyone says about what they want in a player, and then just people that are gonna work hard, stuff like that. Take criticism.
Right.
Criticism.
Are you looking for a team that like? Are you looking for short-term success? Like you want to immediately be contending, or do you want to like? Let's say you get top 5 at an event, but you see potential. Like, would you be willing to continue growing, or do you just want to like? Does that 2 years on one team make you just want to make a roster change after every few events, or like if you're not seeing the exact success you want, or like what exactly is your mindset with that?
Well, I mean, going into these tournaments, I think it is really important to not like. Obviously, you want to see success, but I mean, if it's kind of not easy, I'd say, but you could definitely know if you have potential or not. Like, the players on the team should just feel like they might have potential. You need to get like third, fourth. Like, there's certain things you can do to show that you have potential to like potentially win or one of the next events or just plays really consistently throughout the whole year. So I definitely want to just like build another team because every team I've been on has lasted a pretty long time. There's never really had like a short-term team and then like drop someone and then like change it real quick again. So it's besides the last team that happened, that was kind of like a short-term thing, but that was just kind of like a last hope effort at the end of the game to try and just make some noise. But going to this new game, I definitely just want to build a team that will stick together for a while and build on that. And if we have the potential and everyone sees it, and we're gonna work hard to try and embrace that and push it to its limits, we're definitely gonna stay together and try and build.
All right, great. So what should everybody at home look out for you? Like, what do you think stands out about your gameplay and what you bring to a team that everyone at home should know about?
I mean, definitely everyone probably knows me for a lot of the clutches and search and destroy, and then just like clutching them in there. Then in respawn, like I could slay, I could do all that stuff, get a lot of kills, and then also do the OBJ work, which I felt like I was kind of with the team that formed, I was kind of like forced into that position with like my original FaZe team, like Clayster and Able Zoom. I was kind of like forced into that position aside from what I once was. So I kind of like took that rollover as like the OBJ, like getting the hills, doing like the uplink work, all that stuff. I probably should have took the bomb and search and destroy, but I mean, I was still like, we just kind of had a different play style. But I definitely should have took the bomb and search and destroy. Just, I don't know what I would have done with it if I would have planned it more, just pushed through and played the same. Because sometimes I feel like that can hinder your performance in search, and I just kind of wanted to do my own thing and just like kind of help the team out as much as I can. But I feel like in respawn, I would rather get back to kind of like that. Like it's all right, it's not bad, just doing the objective work and stuff like that. But it gets old after a while because you're just relying on other people so much, and I hate relying on other people so much.
No, that
So
makes sense. You want to be the playmaker. You want to be the deciding factor. You don't want to have to
yeah,
wait for things to fall into place for you to make a play. You want to be the one like
yeah.
initiating it.
I'd rather be the one that tries to make the play and fail than watch someone like make the play and fail. Like I'd rather have fail. Like I'd rather be like, okay, that was my fault. Like I'm sorry, guys. Than being like, oh, good try. Like it sucks. It sucks it didn't work out.
Good
but
try,
good try.
but you fucking suck. You know.
It's like yeah, it's like good try, bro. But like I'd rather be the one that does it and fails, or does it and it goes well.
I get you.
So I just rather have it all on me.
I don't know. I had this image in my head of like you watching someone fail at clutch, and you're just like, I would have had that shit done.
Oh yeah, that's when you're just
ago.
that's when you're just like, shit, bro.
Oh yeah, there's nothing you could have done there.
Good try, bro. Good try. All right, so next round.
Damn.
But
man.
yeah, no, I just want to be the one. I'd rather just be the one to do it because like I don't want to rely on someone else for anything. So I want to be the one to make some amazing shit happen or fuck up.
Yeah, and that like you guys as pro players, that's the one thing that I really admire is just your patience with like disappointment in other people that affects you. You know what I mean? Like you watch someone mess up a play that you think they should have had, and you just gotta like roll with the punches and keep moving on. You know, like you're sitting and watching a 1v1 happen, you can't be involved, and they fail it, and that's got to be like really crushing. I just kind of admire like the perseverance to just move past that.
Yeah, it's definitely tough because you want to just like it's just tough because obviously like you don't want to lose. So when you see someone that makes a bad play or just doesn't clutch up, it's just like ah damn. But you have to like kind of get over it because the game's still going. If you lose like if it's 3-2 or like 4-3 or something, or if it's like 4-5 or even 5-5, it's like you got to go to the next round. You don't want to dwell on that too long. You have to forget about the past and just focus on the present and the future.
Yeah, and especially with the teammates you surrounded yourself with. I mean, you know that failed 1v1 is only going to come with some sick 1v3 clutches or crazy aces and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, so. You just can't really, you can't dwell on it because, I mean, especially when you're on a top level pro team, you know your team's gonna like do some good plays and like clutch up at certain moments. But there's always those times where people lose the 1v1s, people make a bad play, like it happens sometimes. But you try to bounce back from it.
What is it like being for you personally being at the top level? Like, are you like I know there are some teams that are just like worried about scrimming the wrong team because you don't want to help them get better or you don't want to show off certain strategies on stream. Like, what are some precautions that you take being a top level team?
Well, on our old team, like we would always just like try and focus on who we're playing. Like if we are in pool play with someone at a tournament, like we wouldn't want to play against them and like show them certain things. Even if they pick up like a little thing that we do, I'd rather just not do that, just so they don't give them any information. Kind of go into that game and just try and do our thing without them knowing. But with Call of Duty, it's pretty simple because everyone streams so much, so you see a lot of stuff that people do, and it's really easy to pick up on. So I feel like everyone's gonna really cut back on the streaming after like the game. Like everyone's gonna be streaming early on in the game in World War II, but once it gets like the events, like in the middle of the year, everyone's gonna kind of like cool back on it or chill with it because it's very easy. That's when everyone knows the game. At the beginning, no one knows the game. Everyone's just doing some stuff until that one person finds the meta for that certain game type. Then they'll do that for a little bit, then everyone else will catch on, and then it's just a whole repeating cycle of finding stuff out.
And see, you guys piss me off so much when I'm watching you scrim because, like, you won't say anything. I mean, this is smart. This is obviously the good decision to make. You won't say anything out loud. You'll be like, check chat. Like, you'll type it up, and Zoom will be like, oh, yeah, I'll do that from now on. I'm just like, what? What is he doing? Like, I would love to know this. Like, how are you guys going to hit this rotation? Who's going to be hitting this flank? What weapon are you switching to? Stuff like that. So I always got to, like, find you guys on LAN and ask you or watch over your games and figure it out, because I mean this is stuff that I really personally like paying attention to, and I think that a lot of people that subscribe to me enjoy hearing about that sort of stuff. So yeah, I mean that's mainly what I was asking about. It's just like just little things you guys do to stay on top and make sure you don't give anyone else an edge.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely interesting because how Call of Duty is, because everyone used to kind of like stream to make money like a few years back, because like people were getting older, or not even a few years back, like last year or 2 years ago, until really salary was introduced. Everyone was in school and getting older, so like you need money to live. Like you gotta have a place to stay and stuff. So everyone was kind of doing it to make money. But now with the salaries, like you could not stream for a whole year and still make out a decent amount of money. So now streaming is kind of extra to grow your brand and then obviously entertain your viewers, interact with your viewers and stuff, which I find it fun to do. Because I mean, if I stream it and like if I wasn't streaming, I would just get bored after a while. So streaming to me is just like people to talk to, is like people to talk to and hang out with while I play my games. So that's why I find it fun. But it's definitely not a necessity to stream anymore. Like you can be just fine without it.
Yeah, and it's good that like the Call of Duty World League and what Activision has
Yeah.
brought to us has brought us to that point. You guys don't have to like you can afford to have a 6-hour scrim session while creating nothing because you still have money coming in, right? No tournament
Yeah.
coming up. Stuff
That
like
you can
that.
still eat the next day and have a place to stay the next month. So yeah.
Exactly. People get so frustrated with you guys when you're not streaming and everything between events, and I'm like, yo, do you know why they're not streaming? Like they can't just sit here and
It's just like
stream their playbook. Like
yeah, it's like if like an NFL team was just practicing, and like the other team was just chilling there watching, like all the other teams were just chilling there. All the coaches for the other teams were like, oh yeah, it's a nice play, jot that down. It's just like people don't understand because it's video games. So
yeah.
video game is very new, and a lot of the kids are younger, so they really don't understand strategy and stuff like that just yet.
Yeah, basically, like, imagine your favorite sports team in the NFL, NBA, NHL, whatever you watch. If you're watching hockey, sorry about it. Like, imagine them practicing at their local high school so that everyone can see, and then also broadcasting it online to everyone that can't show up. That just wouldn't make any sense. Like, you guys are
it's like the
working on
Patriots.
stuff.
Yeah, the Patriots playing against the Steelers and just streaming their practice, like the whole time. It just wouldn't make sense.
Exactly. So, I guess talking more about streaming your social media and everything, could you go ahead and plug all your content? You're really active on YouTube. I think you told me you stream like every day, and you also make a video every day. That's your main focus.
I used to be. I kind of chilled with the YouTube a little bit. I don't know. Like, there's just not a lot for me to upload right now. But my YouTube is just Dillon attach or attach, and Twitter attach, Instagram attach, Twitch attach. Then my Snapchat is Dillon Price, Dillon Price. But I just like to interact, especially when I have some downtime like this. I just like to interact because I just get bored. Like if you're a professional gamer, it's very boring, especially playing Call of Duty where there's not like a league play kind of thing or a league to play. Whereas like League of Legends will have like the ranked playlist where you can become like challenger and stuff. CS:GO will have like ESEA where like other pros can play, but Call of Duty really has nothing. So it's either like you're playing money 8s, S&D tournaments, and scrimming. If you're not doing one of those, like you're just sitting around playing pub.
I'm really glad you said that because that's something I wanted to bring up with you. I talked about this to Temp as well, and he was telling me like they need to create something, but they also need to create an incentive to bring the pros in.
Yeah.
What would like a ranked playlist alone? Just like let's pretend for a second they put Black Ops 2 League play in the game and made it so that you can't get DDoS, people can't whatever future technology we put in there to prevent that shit. That still wouldn't be enough to get you guys out of tournaments and money 8s lobbies.
No, because that's just kind of for entertainment.
Yeah, what do you think? Like, I mean, obviously you go there for entertainment or just like boredom and anything you can do on the side when you can't get money 8s going or play a tournament. What kind of an incentive would you like to get the pro players over into that playlist so that you're matching up with other pro players and people that are at least close to a pro player's level? What do you think would be the main thing that brings you over from those things?
Honestly, I just thought of this right now, but I don't think it would be a bad idea. Like, let's say they start like a little league, and if you place like top 16 at an event, after each event they will have like a little like season kind of for that, just like a small little like ladder that you could just like post matches or just challenge other teams and play other teams. Like all 16 of those teams and like the 4 players on each of those 16 teams can like get entered into like a league thing, and then I don't know, put some money in it, make it some way. That's just something I thought of, just like, because I feel like you can't just make it open to everyone, because then it's just kind of stupid. Like you'll be playing public matches versus people, and it's like, okay, this is fun for a little bit. It gets tiring, but you want to play against like the best competition all the time and play against the top players, people that have proven themselves at LAN tournaments as well, to just play against the best. So if they can like somehow figure something out with having the top teams from an event be like thrown into a league kind of way, I think it could work out. But I really don't know how they would do that.
Yeah, because then the problem with that is, like, why wouldn't you just go and scrim? I mean, I'm assuming there's going to be an actual.
Well, like, let's say like your scrim's done though. Like if it's like early morning, your scrim's done, and some players are playing in that like league thing, that like that game mode where it's like if you place top 16, you're allowed to play in it. And then I don't know how they would do it with like prize and money and incentives, but I don't know. That was just kind of an idea, but I do wish there was something that I could just like log on, play, and I'm playing against like a good competition.
Yeah, like I really admire some of the other communities for the fact that like some teams will say when we're not scrimming, you need to be playing solo queue. Like go in, practice this champ or something like that. Try it out in solo queue, because they have similar competition, even if they're not exactly at their level, they're at least like close enough, right? So I would love to see you guys have something like that in the next Call of Duty. It'd be really entertaining to watch. And hell, I'd play in it, see how far I can get. I loved getting into Masters and Black Ops 2 and everything. That was a lot of fun to be a part of. And then, of course, getting crushed by you and your peers. But, hey, whatever, right? Yeah, man, thanks for coming on the show today. Again, guys, make sure you go check out his social media.
Thank you.
Yeah, his Twitch, his YouTube. Make sure you go peep that. He usually, when stuff happens to the team or when he has a crazy match in a tournament, he usually upload those gameplays to YouTube. I like watching them just because they're usually pretty entertaining, and you can learn a bit about the team as well and attach himself. His live stream is also great. I like watching and hearing him and his team discuss different things about the gameplay. They also listen to good music, so that's also really good to be around. But
always good to have some good rhythm and blues.
Yeah, for sure. So make sure you go check his stuff out. Thank you again for coming on the show today. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna try and grab you again, like once World War II finally starts. I'm gonna have some more questions. I want to learn more about the team and how you guys are progressing. But,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Honestly, during World War II, I probably won't even talk to my parents. So I'm not gonna text. Right? I'm not gonna text anyone. I'm not gonna talk to anyone. I'm gonna be very pale, very skinny, and have bags under my eyes, looking like a zombie at the first event. So
I mean, that's a sacrifice, though, to get another one of those checks behind you, right? You'll just have another one. So we'll have a better camera shot of both of them.
Exactly. We'll be able to afford better cameras. So that will be good. I'll buy you a camera too when I win champs.
Believe it or not, guys, the world champ is using the exact same webcam I am. I'm just putting that out there, right?
Yes, the job's done. You know?
Yeah, for sure. But all right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out my stuff on screen as well. You can see my Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Drop a subscription. We're approaching 10,000 subscribers. That's kind of my goal. I really like to get there. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Make sure you check out the temp interview that should be coming up at some point, sometime soon. Check out Splice interview that I did with Mad Cat, the interview with Nameless of Evil Geniuses announcing his roster, all that great stuff. This is Play for Picks.
Peace.